fell down. Yeah. We were lucky because our youngest daughter went over to put up all this 4th of July stuff in our house. And she and her husband cleaned everything up, got all the water out. So, yeah, because, you know, I'd already filed it. Yeah, I'd already filed a claim with her insurance agent. It's $5,000 deductible. Let's just take care of it. Yeah. I was going to put a piece of sheetrock in and texture it and paint it for $500. Nothing else to do.
I need the name of your guy. Because that guy, I had a water.
your phone.
Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet in regular session on June the 9th, 2026, 10 a.m. Commissioners Courtroom, County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is invocation and pledge of allegiance to the U.S. and Texas flag, and I'll lead those. Father, I want to thank you again for your love and your mercy. I want to thank you, Father, that we are blessed to live in a country that we have the freedoms that we have. Father, I want to thank you that we pray for our leadership at the federal level, at state level, and of course county level too. Pray, Father, that you'll give us wisdom as we make decisions this morning. I ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and/or concerns, and I've got 4 that want to speak. Ivan Sefcik.
That's Ivan Sverchek. I'm a resident here in Brazos County, precinct number 2. I'd like to talk to you today about the ALPR cameras that exploded into Texas. Oh, sorry. I would like to talk to you today about the ALPR cameras that have exploded recently into Texas and our county as a whole. First of all, the flock safety ALPR cameras being installed everywhere are significantly more than just automated license plate readers. In addition to license plate numbers, they take pictures of every single person and vehicle that passes by to catalog everything from the number of people in a car to what bumper stickers you have or the color of the bicycle that you are riding. Between the county, the cities of Bryan and College Station, and the Union Pacific Railroad, I'm logged at least 10 times a day by these cameras on my normal commute. This pervasive surveillance is something that neither I nor the thousands of others who drive on our roads every day have consented to or desire. While it is undeniable that the data that is collected by these is helpful to our local law enforcement and all the other entities that have access to that data, the tracking this provides is at odds with our national and state values of independence and freedom. Indeed, it isn't just contrary to our principles, but is in direct conflict with our founding laws and the protections afforded us by the Bill of Rights in both our national and state constitutions. Since this widespread camera rollout is a recent development, there has not been time for the matter to reach the Supreme Court. But the precedent is clear on this. In 2011, with Jones versus the United States, the Supreme Court held unanimously that attaching a GPS device to a vehicle to track it without warrant was an unconstitutional search. Then, even more explicitly, in the 2017 case, Carpenter versus the United States, about cell phone tower records, the majority opinion of the court stated, "A majority of this court has already recognized that individuals have a reasonable expectation of privacy in the whole of their physical movements. Prior to the digital age, law enforcement might have pursued a suspect for a brief stretch, but doing so for any extended period of time was difficult and costly and therefore rarely undertaken. For that reason, society's expectation has been that law enforcement agents and others would not, and indeed in the main could not, secretly monitor and catalog every single movement of an individual's car for a long period." Now, given the recent expansion of these cameras, it is clear that the goal of these systems is indeed to comprehensively monitor and catalog every single movement of an individual's car for a very long period. This isn't just for a few suspects either, but for every single person who lives in or visits our county. So, I would ask you, as my elected representatives, to please consider this policy of mass surveillance that we're embarking upon and think about the consequences to our privacy and our rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Kathy Beans.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Kathy Beans, Precinct 4. My commissioner's not here today. I'm disappointed she's not here. Last session, we had a vote on the certificate of obligation, and I had asked a question at the podium that I was not allowed to ask a follow-up on, but I did a FOIA request for the answer to that question, which is how much is the interest going to be on that $36 million certificate of obligation? Actually, it's 38. And that number, in case anybody wants to know, is $21 million. So the total payout for that certificate of obligation is $57,243,258. That's significant to me. I don't know if that's a calculation you've thought about. I see in the budget for last year on page 110, there is a funding for the 101 building for the full amount. At that time, it was $69,400,000, and yet we're borrowing $38 million to finish that project. So an argument was made, I believe, that we might need that extra money and we should put it aside for emergencies. But also in our budget is $42 million for emergencies. So I'm not clear about why we need an additional $38 million set to the side for emergencies if we already have a $42 million fund. So if there's another purpose for it, I'm willing to entertain that idea. But I don't feel like it's transparent to us to understand what you're doing with the money. If you're raising money and funding a project and then borrowing additional money later, it doesn't make sense to me without a better explanation. I did want to say how happy I am that you now have a QR code for the visitors here to the courthouse, since the public parking is full with employee parking, and so I think it's only fair that the public can park for free in the parking garage if the employees are not going to take advantage of the free parking. I had a couple other questions on another agenda item, number 8 and number 29, but I'll speak to them later. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Cindy Wiley?
Good morning.
Morning.
I want to share a few recent events that have happened regarding our Secretary of State. A little background of what HAVA is. It's an acronym for the Federal Help America Vote Act, passed in 2002, spawned from the hanging Chad in the 2000 election, ushering in electronic voting systems. Section 303 requires all states to implement and maintain a single uniform official centralized interactive computerized statewide voter registration list that shall serve as the official voter registration list for the conduct of all elections for federal office in the state. In other words, counties do not maintain completely independent official voter rolls under HAVA's framework. I've shared the 2 letters outlining massive issues occurring in the Texas Election Administration Management System, referred as TEAM. TEAM serves as the state's official voter registration database. That's important. Here's what you may or may not know. A HAVA complaint was filed at the end of March against Bexar County election official, election department, and Secretary of State regarding the 2026 primary. A different HAVA complaint has been filed at the end of May with our Secretary of State seeking a hearing on the record under Section 303. HAVA complaints have a 90-day shelf life that requires a rendering of a final determination within those 90 days. This complaint addresses statewide voting tallies of voter turnout numbers and votes counted regarding the 2022 and 2024 elections. None of the 4 official measurements in each of these 2 elections agree. So what numbers were certified and how did the state reconcile? The first HAVA complaint was dismissed by the Secretary of State and the individual has filed in district court. Therefore, this matter is still at issue. Shortly thereafter, I believe within 24 hours, the Secretary of State announced her resignation effective July 17th of this year. If Texas is found to be out of compliance with HAVA, millions of federal funds could be in jeopardy. Citizens have been speaking out about anomalies in our voter rolls, insecurities of voting machines that we vote on, the loss of community fellowship due to the switch to countywide vote centers. What will it take for this dais to pause and consider forming a citizens committee to allow citizens who find anomalies to work within a group that would share the results with this dais, as opposed to this dais being unaware of what corrections may be taking place at the election administrator's office. That would fall under the transparency umbrella that we continue to ask y'all to improve upon. For instance, I spoke at this podium and said the official primary reconciliation math was not adding up. I'm thinking, let's see if our elected might be curious or concerned. Brazos may be officially reporting wrong numbers to the Secretary of State. Might my own commissioner ask me, his constituent? I emailed Ms. Hancock, explained my math, and CC'd each one of you on my email. No one on this acknowledged receipt without me asking. Ms. Hancock responded, thanked me, and amended the official primary reconciliation. I'm not going to read the last sentence. You can read that one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Peter Michelina?
Hey, good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Peter Michelina with Precinct 4. Hope you're all having a great morning. So a couple things. We had a good conversation last week regarding the restart court that was approved, the new specialty court. And I was talking to a lot of the veteran organizations in the community, and today I'll be representing the VFW speaking about this. We've talked to a lot of the veteran organizations, and we want to find out how this impacts the veterans in the Brazos County. So what we have done is we've invited Judge Dana Zachary to come to the VFW and hold a community meeting for all veterans that live in the area and their families as well as any other community members that feel they may be affected by this. This will be on June 18th at 6 o'clock. We'll provide food. I recommend getting there a little early just in case it runs out. But it will be focused around the restart court. And I'd love to ask any of you all to participate, especially you, General, see if you want to come by. And I know that a lot of veterans I'm not implying that they would be involved in any activities, but at some point this may come up. And I want them to know what access they have to these resources. I think it'd be good for us to have conversations about this. And I think Judge Hilburn and Judge Zachary are going to do a great job discussing how this affects veterans in the Brazos County and what we can expect from the specialty court. So again, it'll be June 18th at 6 o'clock, and I'd love to see anyone there that's interested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that completes the citizen input. Number 3 is presentation and discussion. Presentation to recognize Deputy Constable Tony Piccolo as a recipient of the 2026 State Texas Law Enforcement Achievement Award for Public Service. And we'll let Donald Lampo.
We're here today just to let you know that Tony, as you said, Dwayne, has received the 2026 Achievement Award from TCO for public service. We'll go to Austin on the 26th for him to get the award, and it's for a program he put together called the Back to School Bash. I'll let him explain a little more of that to you in just a second. But like I said, we go down there, we be at the Capitol, and this is going to our 3rd year, June the 10th here at Brian Silver campus. We'll be doing this event again. The first year, he gave out 1,200 backpacks and school supplies to local children. Last year, we were on pace to do 1,500, but Mother Nature decided she needed a rainstorm, and the line disappeared. So we served over 1,200 again. But it's not only just school supplies and backpacks, it's that and other. He has community service people there. We have clothing. His wife puts together with some clothing and stuff that give to the people. We have food for them, drinks for them. It's just a big afternoon, a 3-hour giveaway. And like I said, Chris McDermott put him in for this award through TCO, and TCO granted him the award. So we'll go down on the 26th for him to get the award. I'll let him explain a little more about the program for you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning, Tony.
I am very grateful and thankful for the recognition here today. I would like to say that I'm also very grateful and thankful to have Donald Lampo as a chief administrator. He's allowed me to go above and beyond the normal scope of law enforcement work, and by doing so, I was able to support thousands of families and make a huge impact on children in the community. I know, like, sometimes you'll go into the grocery store or whatever, and you'll see kids walking around, and kids may be unruly, acting out, and you'll see a parent, and the parent will say, "You see that police officer right there? If you don't act right, he's going to get you." I know some of us are guilty of that. That's something that we need to stop, and I want to stop that. So by starting out with these kids young, making a positive impact, changing the way they think about law enforcement, bridging the gap in the community. I've always said that. I think it can make a big difference later on down the road for use of force incidents, resisting arrest. They see us as friendlies instead of enemies. As far as the Back to School Bash, it is an event that we put on once a year, and we do support about 1,500 families. I was like 1,500 children, 15 to 2,000. And it doesn't stop there. We also support families year-round at Christmas time as well. All different types of support: food, clothing, items, mental health. We're even going to do cancer screening this year for kids. And like I said, it doesn't stop there. It goes on throughout the entire year. And I would like to reiterate and say again, I'm really thankful to have this guy as a chief administrator, and I do appreciate all the support that showed up for me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tony.
As he said, we partner with Signature Care also. At Christmas time, the office, we get together and pool our money, and we give to a family at Christmas time too. But Signature Care actually interview, that's not the proper term. They sort through the applicants for this care. And you have to be needy, you have to be working, you have to be trying. It's just not, here, take this and go. They do a pretty good screening on this deal for a family. Like this past year, we helped a family. They had been married previously. They were married now and had 6, 7 kids, 8. It was quite a few from both, 8 kids. And both are working, both were struggling. And so that's the family that we gave to last year. And we got a bunch of hugs for it. We were really, it went over well. So again, we'll be in the 26th. We'll get the pictures and everything back to you and bring you the award after that, okay, and show it to you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Let me just say personally, Tony, thank you so much for what you do. And I just want y'all to know we were in a cooking class together and he can cook.
That's Tony, not me. Yeah.
Yes, you can cook too. So, thank you so much.
Thank you
Pleasure
all.
to get to know you.
Thank you, Tony.
Speaking of pictures, I want y'all to come up and we'll take a picture. And why don't you get your whole department to come up and we'll take a picture with you?
Who all's here? The rest of them are in court right now.
Oh, I see Chris back there.
Yeah, we don't have many. Yep.
Right. On count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Your wife's still taking pictures.
Hold on, guys.
One more.
Thank y'all again.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we'll have presentation and discussion of Veteran Services update by Cale Murray, Brazos County Veteran Services Officer. Cale.
Good morning, Judge Peters, Commissioners, Brazos County citizens. My name is Cale Murray with Veteran Services. I was asked to give this update. My predecessor used to give them as well, about every 6 months. Catch everybody up on goings on in the Veterans Services community, and I'll accept any questions at the end. Just to introduce you real quick, we've had a few changes in the last 6 months to everyone. Like I said, I'm Cale. I've been employed since October of 2024. I joked that I was Pam's little-known sidekick on campus that a lot of people didn't know. I was actually a Brazos County employee, not a Texas A&M employee, but I was over there. And Ben Holmes has been here for several years, our admin assistant, and you guys have met Miss Diana Mills. She's our newest assistant VSO. She's crushing it already, halfway through training, and already doing great things for our city and for our county. We have 2 offices. We have the one across the street. As you guys know, we used to be in the hall across the street. We outgrew that across the hallway over here, and we moved across the street last year. We also have a smaller office on campus in the Memorial Student Center where I see current Texas A&M students. For those who may not be aware, Brazos County Veteran Services, we do a lot of different things. About 80% of our work is done assisting veterans and their families and survivors and so forth with VA claims, and there's many different varieties of those. But we do a lot of other tasks as well, such as we assist people with getting missing paperwork, missing dental records, missing medical records, DD-214s, all kinds of different things. So you'll see later on when I show statistics that there's a number of other things we do as well. One of our main things that we try to be involved in is the community and our community outreach efforts. I had a good conversation with Peter before we started this morning. We are members of several different organizations, veteran services organizations around the county. American Legion Post 1938, College Station. Ben is a member over there. He attends their monthly meetings. I'm in Bryan at 159 myself, and Diana are involved over there. They have a breakfast on Thursday mornings, which is a hoot if you guys have never been, from 8 to 10 in the morning on Thursday mornings at the American Legion in Bryan. Is a lot of fun. We have a coalition of veteran services organizations in the area. We meet monthly. Myself and Diana normally cover down that, as well as the local VFWs, of which I'm a member of 12221 out in College Station. Here's some recent pictures from some outreach when we were out in the community. You guys might recognize Mark over there as well from Texas Veterans Commission, along with myself and Diana. Ben and Pam at the recent Senior Expo over at the Brazos Center. We try to attend as many of those types of events as well. And we do lots of public speaking and so forth. For instance, Ben participated in a Veterans Day at Wellborn Middle School recently. We have what's called vet camp every semester when new students come in. We have a big powwow, if you will, and we get together and brief all the new students on all the things going on and where we can assist them. Ben and Pam gave a seminar at Christ Church back in January. I actually had a client yesterday come in, him and his wife, that attended that briefing. We do a lot of different things, Reach Across America, American Legion Division conferences, and we just try to get out and spread the word about veteran services that are out there through Brazos County, as well as through other counties in the Brazos Valley area. Over there on the left, the gentleman, some of you guys might know him, that's Bob Kane. He is the VSO over in Walker County. He and I have crossed paths in the night and have many mutual friends. He is my hometown VSO in Walker County in Huntsville, where I was born and raised. He came there about the time I was leaving to go in the Army, so we had never actually met in person until 2 weeks ago down in San Marcos, so we had a little fun with that. That middle picture is me speaking at the American Legion Division Conference, as well as Pam over at Christ Church back in the spring. Some big things have happened organizational-wise. Since early 2024, there's been about a 67% increase in number of clients that we've been serving. As a result of that, at the end of last year, Pam Robertson asked me if I would be interested in becoming a full-time employee instead of just part-time on campus. I agreed to do so, and then that happened in February. And then out of left field, as you guys know, Pam left and moved to Colorado to become a VSO up there. As a result of that, many of you may not know, we have a written agreement with Texas A&M to provide a VSO on campus, and we're normally there 20 hours a week, and we reduced that presence in the immediate down to 9 hours. So I'm there all day on Wednesdays from 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. That will resume more of a normal status quo once the fall kicks off between myself and Diana and Ben splitting our time. Another significant thing we did was we changed our walk-in hours from Monday and Wednesdays to be Mondays and Thursdays, because Wednesdays are the big day on campus when all of the outside support organizations like Health Services, VA, Aggie One Stop, and a lot of others ask us to be there. So many people in this organization helped us get the word out. Facebook, Public Affairs, Ken helped us out. Bob helped us get our signage changed real quick, and we got that word out as quick as we could to the public. And we've only had a few people that got confused on it. So far, it's been working great. Another thing we implemented that we've been doing over at A&M since I started was we implemented a self-scheduling system online. Previously, and to be truthful, most of our senior citizens still use the old-fashioned way. They call Ben, they walk in the door, make an appointment, that kind of way. But we set up an online system. About 60 or 70% of my students on campus use it. That way we can take care of all the preliminary stuff before they ever walk in the door. And in many cases, we can go on to a Teams or a Zoom meeting to take care of their needs. I set up kind of as an experiment here as well. We set that up, and we've been seeing about 20 to 30% of our clients that are self-scheduling themselves and preloading all their paperwork before they get to us. So that's worked out very nicely, and we're looking to expand that in the near future. Of course, you know, Diana began employment on May 11th, and then on May 20th, we implemented a new intake and tracking system to help ourselves be more efficient, to better keep up, because we have a high volume of people that come through the door. Any questions so far? No. Okay. Talk about statistics a little bit. This is just a snapshot through the month of May, and on average, you can see scheduled appointments. We have about 40, about 100 and some change, just looking at January, 116 walk-ins. Other contacts are people that call for information. They may email me and say, hey, where can I get X service? And we still help them out with that stuff. But the bottom line is, through the end of the month of May, we had assisted veterans or their families in filing 316 VA claims, and we've done 984 other assists of some sort, attaining missing records, burial, survivors benefits, that types of stuff. So on average, we see, you know, a little over 200 people a month is what we normally interact with. That's here at the Bryan office. Over on campus, it's a lot lighter throughput. We get a big surge in the spring and the fall semesters, as would be expected. As you can see, in January, I had 13 scheduled appointments, 14 walk-ins. I did 12 claims. Whereas you look at May, I had 4 scheduled appointments, 3 walk-ins. You guys get the idea. the traffic drops off significantly. But this semester, we filed 49 VA claims and 123 other assists on campus. All right, these numbers, I pulled these numbers Friday through the end of the month of May. And we'll start with the back pay. So whenever a veteran files a claim for disability or some other assistance, or their family does, oftentimes it takes several months for it to all happen and go through. And as a result, they end up getting back paid some significant amount of money usually. And so many of the claims that we filed last year are coming through nowadays. So claims that hit since the beginning of the new year, about $921,000 approximately. Like I said, this number changes every day. So this is a ballpark. And then I'll go back to January of 2025. Won't talk about anything before that because it's too hard to keep up with because the numbers change as well. But we've had a little over $1 million in recurring monthly payments that we've assisted local veterans in Brazos County with achieving, and that number is always growing, of course. All right. So in conclusion, I want to talk about a couple other things. Brazos County and Veteran Services, we work hard to serve our local veterans and their families. We're always looking to improve our processes and become more efficient. If anyone has any ideas, please come talk to us, and we'll entertain anything. We've had a lot of support during the changeover, especially from Public Affairs, from Bob and his team across the way over there. They've been really helpful. We're always training. We do lots of mandatory training through the VA, through the Texas Veterans Commission. And we're always looking to improve our stuff. Something, a side note here, I want to encourage you guys, if you have veterans in your orbit, as they say, if you have veterans in your world that you know, have a conversation with them, because too often they don't talk to us until it's too late. And not to be on a dark note here, but a couple of times a month, I have someone walk in the door, oftentimes a couple of times a week, and it's usually, well, he was hard-headed. You guys know what I'm talking about because it's almost always the guys. He was hard-headed. He didn't want to talk to a VSO. He didn't want to talk to VA. And either a widow or a spouse whose husband is now in nursing care walks in the door, and they want to start playing the VA card. And it is very, very difficult uphill climb at a very emotionally difficult time for them. An example, have a local family. Son walked in the door about a month ago. We were in the middle of it all, and his father died. He was trying to help his father get long-term nursing care. And so now the family has a big mess on their hand, okay? If you can get ahead of that, even if they're not interested in disability or anything like that, have a conversation. There's lots of doors of opportunity and lots of benefits that are out there that people may not know of. And I get it. The culture was different in the 60s and the 70s. A lot of people wanted to serve their country, get out and melt back into America, and we're fine with that, but the world has changed, society has changed, the benefits have changed. Come talk to a VSO. If not us, go see Mark down at the VA office, my buddy Paul up in Franklin. There's lots of people around that can help with this. They don't have to do anything other than educate themselves and their families. We want to help with that, but we want to help with that while we can be proactive and not trying to chase our tail after the fact when it's a difficult situation, okay? Any thoughts or comments on that? Okay. I have one last topic I want to bring up, and this is an opportunity to recognize one of our own, and it's well-deserved. So 2 weeks ago, Diana and I went to San Marcos. We have an annual, they call it a claims conference that the Texas Veterans Commission hosts. They move it around the state for, convenience and travel and see a different part of the area. But Diana and I went down there for 2.5 days, and it's an opportunity. It's a training conference, catch up on current laws, catch up on trends, rumors. There's always lots of rumors out there on Facebook and on social media about the VA and Texas Veterans Commission and so forth. But one of the things they like to do at the end of it is they like to recognize people. And I would like to talk about my buddy Ben Holmes this morning. I made him come to this, and he's not going to like what I'm about to say, but I'm going to put it out there. So many of you know Ben. You've interacted with him. I will say Ben is our admin assistant, been there for a couple of years now. And he is the face of our organization, whether that be when they walk in the door the first time, someone calls. I have seen him handle from grieving widows to young combat vets dealing with mental health crisis and all in between. He always has a sense of humor. He's empathetic, he's sympathetic, and he's also a great typist. A lot of people don't know that. Ben's a heck of a typist. To be an old retired Marine, he can type about 70 words a minute, and you would never see that out of him. But that's a handy skill in this gig, right? So the reason I mention all this is, like I said, I know it would make him crazy, but The week that we went to training, Ben was off in the best place he could be. He was with his family, with his grandkids on vacation, have a good time. And it was a pleasant surprise to me. I was able to accept an award on his behalf. The Texas Veterans Commission for the entire state of Texas, counties and TVC, has named Ben Holmes as their support staff assistant person of the year for the whole state of Texas. Come on up, Ben. Yeah, I told him he didn't have a choice but to come this morning. So first of all, buddy, this is for you. TVC coin. Serving those who serve. That's for you. Congratulations, my friend. You're welcome. And then a nice certificate from Texas Veterans Commission. I'll read it off. Presented to Benjamin Holmes, Administrative Assistant, Brazos County, in recognition of exceptional excellence, exemplified by your dedication to our agency values and demonstrated by your distinguished achievements. Your steadfast dedication to serving veterans and their families reflects the highest standard of service and commitments. With deep appreciation, we honor your invaluable contribution to Texas veterans and to the mission of the Texas Veterans Commission. Thank you very much.
Do we need a picture?
Commissioners, Judge, Cale, thank you so much. I'm humbled, I'm surprised, and now you know my name. I wanted that to never happen. I'm humbled just for being the phone boy. Thank you. Thank you.
Take pictures, Ben.
Ben, come on up. Let's get some pictures. Anybody have any questions before we wrap it up? All right. Let's get some pictures.
Yeah, come on up.
Are we centered enough?
Are we centered?
No, we're us.
Oh, well, me too.
Y'all,
Am I in the way? We're
no,
all
you're
tall.
good. You're good.
I'm the short, yeah, I guess.
There we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. Thank y'all.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, Cale. Excellent report.
Okay, we will move on and consider and take action on the following. The consent agenda items were listed as 4 through 22 and 33 through 34, but I've had a request by citizen to speak at 8 and 9. So if it's okay with the court, the consent agenda will be 4 through 7 and 10 through 22.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve 4 through 7 and 10 through 22. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Now we will move to number 8. Permission to advertise RFP CIP 26533 Brazos County Master Plan, and Kathy Veens wants to speak on that.
I only wanted an explanation of what this whole plan is going to be and why it's being presented now as opposed to when the new court gets seated in January, and what you expect the cost to be and what's it all about, please.
So Trevor, you want to?
Morning, Judge and Commissioners. So last budget year, we presented when budget was presented and we were talking capital projects, this project was presented to the court and approved and adopted in the FY26 budget that we're in currently. We then had a public workshop that we went through the scope of work for the master plan, and we've spent lots of time kind of honing that in to try and come in underneath the budget that was established for the project, which was $1 million. The strategy that we've adopted here is we've broken the scope of work out into 7 or 8 different sections that we're going to try to capture, and take kind of a la carte pricing through the RFP process, and then as a committee, which is the next item that you all are going to be a member of, set the priority so that we can try and get underneath that budget number. And so the RFP, I believe, was attached to the agenda item, and the scope of work should be in there as well. But again, this has been a really long, drawn-out process as we've tried to kind of hone this scope down into something that we felt was manageable. I understand kind of the timing and things aren't great, but you know, the project was adopted last budget year. Money was in October, and we've been working basically ever since to try and get this thing to a point that we felt that we were all comfortable with to get it advertised out, and that we feel like hopefully will come underneath our budget number.
Okay.
So I can talk through some of the scope items specifically if we'd like to, but if there's no other questions, then I won't dive any further.
Questions?
No questions.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thanks.
All right, so we will vote first on number 8. I need a motion and a second.
I move approval.
Second?
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. We'll move to number 9, is approval of the following committee for RFP CIP 26533 Brazos County Master Plan.
Move to approve A through H.
Second?
Motion made and seconded, and Cindy wanted to speak on that. Cindy.
So my question is, what is meant by the designee? Does that mean that, like, I'll take you, for instance, Judge, when you leave office December 31st, are you appointing anybody you want? Or are you appointing the next judge that's going to be seated? How does that work? And that's kind of my ask for all of these positions, because 2 of you will be leaving in 2 years, and we've got Greenwood coming in, so Condola will be leaving, but yet he's named in this committee. So does Greenwood slip in? And Commissioner Watson, I don't know who's going to win your race. So, like, how is this going to work? That's my question.
So that's, I think it's why it's listed that way. It is up to the sitting, whether it's county judge or commissioner, to either take on that role, to be the committee on this master plan, or to designate someone. So it's individually. I could designate someone else, and either one of the commissioners could designate someone else. Potentially could be the future county judge, or maybe not. You know, it's up to each one of us' decision as a designee.
Okay, that answers it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? None motion carries. So that gets us to number 23. And 23 is proclamation 2618 proclaiming the month of June as Elder Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. I'll need a motion and a second on that.
I move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. Is there anyone here to receive that? Hearing no one, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 24 is selection of public members and alternates to serve the Brazos County Salary Grievance Committee for the calendar year 2026 pursuant to Section 152.015 of the Texas Local Government Code. And I believe with this one, we're going to have to draw names.
Draw names. Quite a few of them.
Okay. Margaret Nally. Lower Lee Strobe Shanklin. Keziah Smith. Randolph Bader,
59.
Caroline Schwartz, Michael Picone, Paul Baylor, Johnny Duarte, Blake Lipscomb, Jolynn Hayes, Javier Huerto, Guy Benson, Kelly Lee, Taylor O'Donnell, Christian Latourne, Paul Timoney, Nathaniel Poling, James Garrett, James Hardy, Tracy Perkins, Philip Guagler, Sahida Shahiq, Martha Gober, Kathy Belady, Hong Young Nguyen, Kelsey Crafter.
Aubrey, does he need to slow down a little bit, or y'all got it?
Are you,
Okay.
you okay? Okay.
Y'all are
Well, you,
flipping.
you slow me down if I need to. John Dimney, Erwin Laurie, Jessica Honoski, Trixie Roy, Dean Baskin, Guy Wagner, John Mitchell, Kathy Corbell, Eric Mock, Mike Fairweather, David Cooper, Aaron Porter, Christina Crow, Christian Paul Denolan, Brandy Fancher, Sharina Peterson, William Kenmore, Timothy Conderla, Rebecca Jenkins, Scott Waltershield, Deborah Schaefer, Michael Luna, Aislinn Meadows, Kathy Parker, Sean Fay, Mary Stastosky, Lacey Smith, Wyatt Buchanan. That's it. Okay, got them all? Okay.
Judge, I don't understand this. You know, normally, if you've got 10 people on a committee, it's hard to get anybody to agree to anything, but here we're gonna have 50 plus people on a committee, and it's gonna be a train wreck.
Well, not really, because those are all off the grand jury. That's what that list of names is. Those
Okay.
are grand jury. And they can serve on salary, but only 9 get to serve. So
Okay.
they will be picked in the order that they were picked in. And if somebody can't serve, then that's, you just keep on moving down the list, and you, I mean, potentially could get all the way down to the 50, whatever, 59th one or whatever it was. But you only have 9 that actually serve, and it's a salary grievance. It's in the statute. That's,
Well, that's good.
if an elected official grieves that they don't think that they're being compensated adequately, they can go to this. This is their method of being able to go and grieve that they're, not compensated. And if that committee were to vote 9-0 to give that elected official a raise, the court doesn't have any say-so about it. They automatically get the raise. If they vote 8-1, then it comes back to the court, and the court gets to decide whether we want to give it or not. And if it's 7 or less, it doesn't come back. So that's in the statute.
Good, thank
You
you.
probably wrote that law. I don't know.
So what you're saying is it will only be approved and not come to the court if it's unanimous? The 9?
Yes.
So it
If
has
it's
to be
9-0,
unanimous.
it doesn't come back to the court, it's
So
automatic.
just one vote can,
One vote can at
Sends it
least
to
send
us.
it back to the court. 2 votes against it wouldn't come back. It
We
would
need to vote.
remain like it is.
Null and void.
okay, all righty.
So
Okay.
Judge, we need to vote to approve those folks you
Yes.
just selected?
Yes.
So I move to approve.
Sec- Go ahead.
Second?
Motion made, seconded to approve the list that was in that order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 25 is approval requested Brazos County brand and identity guidelines.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
I want to thank Ken Smith for all the hard work they've done. And I know
Absolutely.
all the department heads trying to come up with this. We've never had it before, and it's about time, to be honest with you, that we had some kind of left and right limits on how we identify ourselves.
I agree. I think it's.
Tremendous job.
Yep, I agree. Something that's needed. And I think this speaks to how we're progressing as a county and why it's so important that all of the things that we're trying to do here is trying to be proactive to be able to address the growth of the county and the increase of what we're doing here, because we're now designated urban, and so we need to be able to stand in that as a county that is being very proactive in how we progress the operation of the county. So I thank all of you all for the hard work that you do.
Okay. No further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 26 is approval of policy for adoption of the new and revised county policies.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
Again, there's been a whole lot of work put into this. I know I've seen several variations. Appreciate all the staff that weighed in. The whole idea is how do we standardize the way we adopt policies for this county? And I think this is a huge step in the right direction.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 27 is approval of Brazos County investment policy.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. We're going to skip number 28 until after the executive session. Number 29 is approval of a contract with Mesquite Properties Joint Venture for the purchase of real property in the amount of $2,400,000.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion made, seconded. And I've got,
Judge, can I speak on that?
you want to speak first? Okay, I
Yes, sir.
got 2 citizens that want
Oh,
to
you
speak.
did?
Going to give them opportunity
Oh, yes,
first,
sir.
and then you speak.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 29 is Kathy Beans.
Thank you for taking my questions. I have a question regarding the purchase of this property in view of how the county has used other funds to purchase properties, for example, the BISD, and how that turned into sort of a debacle for unknown reasons. But This property in particular, I can't help but think that the commissioners have not looked at the tax assessment record on the property. We're proposing to buy it for $2.4 million. In 2024, the tax assessment was $980,000. In 2025, it sold, in spring of '25, it sold for 1.7. Why are we spending $2.4 million on this building? What are the extras that were added to that building for more than $500,000 since the previous sale that we're now willing to pay that extra money for? Why are we spending 3 times as much as the property sold for less than 3 years ago? Have you looked at
That's your question? Yeah,
Have you looked at the history of the property so you know what it sold for? You know who the purchases are, who bought it, and who sold it, and when. You have all that information, and you're still all voting to buy this property?
So, I mean, you know then what the location of the property is, and you are aware of the escalation in values in Brazos County property over the last, whatever, 5, 10 years?
We're talking 18 months, but 3 times. It's sold in 2024, it's now 2026.
Right.
And we're buying it for almost 3 times what it was sold for. So I just want to make sure that you have fully considered all those ramifications, because this money is taxpayer money. We just spent $38 million to finish a building that we already had the money for. We have tons of maintenance and operation costs, right? It's millions of dollars, $20, $30 million in M&O. So I just want to, don't feel like it's fiscally responsible.
So, I mean, you're aware of the location?
Yes.
It is right there where the jail, the sheriff's office, it's right there next to all that. And so at some point in the future, and I don't know when that'll be, but at some point in the future, there's going to need to be an expansion of that jail. I mean, we've expanded it once because of need while I've been on the court. And some future court is going to have to expand that, I believe, as this county continues to grow. I mean, there's, numbers that you can look at that are approximate. If you have population, the number of people who would be incarcerated, there's kind of a ratio there. Don't remember what that is, but I know that we are growing in Brazos County population-wise, and so eventually there's going to be a need to expand the jail, and there is very little room left out there to do any of that. This gives us the ability, or I won't be on the court, but it gives that future court, when the need is there, to be able to expand.
So it feels like we're preloading the expenses of needs for the next 10 years onto today's generation, and the people who are earning money in the county are going to be paying for it for something that we won't actually have a need for maybe 10, 15 years. So just, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of taxpayer responsibility. People can't afford this. You got seniors who can't afford to live here anymore.
So I can tell you, we've actually looked at that property in the past, and it sold out from under us before we had the opportunity to purchase it. So 10 years from now, when the need may really be there, it may not be available. I mean, if you don't plan ahead for things, when the time comes, it may not be available at all.
Well, and I know that the sheriff has repeatedly asked for a building to park a SWAT vehicle in. Every time they they come back with a $10 million quote to build that building. So I'm hoping that this facility there will allow them to at least park some of their equipment out of the rain, extend the value of it, lifetime of it. So if you look at it in that perspective, it's really kind of a bargain. I don't know why we can't build a building cheaper than $10 million in this county, but we don't seem to be able to.
Judge. Judge. The speaker's time has expired. Would the court like to allow some additional comment?
Thank you, Kathy. Well, you had questions, so I was responding to your question. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you.
And the cost of property is going up because if you said, once it was 900,000, then it was 1.8, and now it's 2.4. So it's sort of like we're trying to be proactive in terms of future needs, and we will have some offsetting expenses to kind of counter that. At some point, we'll have some offsetting input to offset some of that cost. But it's kind of like what the judge says, everything is going up. It's like, whatever you build today, whatever we're trying to do today, may cost 3 times that if we wait 10 years. And so we're just trying to be as responsible and proactive and future-looking. I appreciate the judge's vision on what he is trying to do to be ready for the growth of this county, because 10 years from now, we probably won't recognize this county. I know everybody wants to keep Brazos County country, but it's not going to be that way. We're going to be as urban as some of the other counties. So yes, it seems like a lot of money, but we're just trying to be proactive to make sure that we provide the county for what it needs, for the citizens for what they need, and it does seem like a lot. It was a moment of pause even for me, but it is what it is, and so we're just trying to do the best that we can for the county and for the citizens. So I support it.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner. Peter Michelina.
It looks correct on my end, Charles. Do you?
It's still on.
Anything different on yours?
I wanted to make sure. Good morning, Commissioners, Judges. My name is Peter Michelina. I'm with Precinct 4. Similar track, but slightly different than what Mrs. Veens raised. I was more concerned about how this was presented on the agenda and the lack of transparency when it was put onto the agenda. One of the things that when I went through it, I felt that would have been great to see is what this property was going towards and what the plan for it was. The only thing on the agenda item was the lease, which was attached, which is great, understanding, what's going into it, how much it costs, everything that goes onto it. But I feel like whenever items are being put up there for citizens that have questions, for example, I asked old Larry Johnson, hey, there's county's selling the A1 building, the old A1 building. He said, well, what are they going to do with it? I said, I have no idea, because there's nothing that was posted online. There's no answers that anyone can really quickly, accessibly see as to what the county's plan is with that. So I wanted to bring that up, and I think that having the transparency when we're making these decisions would be great. One of the things I was curious about too is if we've done a cost-benefit analysis on where this is going to be 10 years down the road. What's it going to cost to upgrade this facility in 10 years? How much is that going to cost the taxpayers at that point? Especially if you're going to talk about the expansion of the jail, you're going to have to look at security systems that have to be put in place, all the infrastructure that needs to go with it. Also, we're losing on the tax revenue for the next 10 years. The $2.4 million, and Judge, I understand what you're saying regarding the fact that you've looked at this property before, y'all want to pick it up now before it gets back off the market, and that makes sense. Initially, I am concerned, again, the overvaluation of the property since it's valued at 1.4 by our own Brazos CAD, and we're purchasing it at 2.4. So an extra $1 million on top of the maintenance and requirements for the next 10 years before we even start developing, and what that burden is going to look like on people here in the area. And so when it comes down to what my main point is here is there a plan in place? Is this something that we made a decision based on, hey, this is open, we feel like this is the right time to do this? Or is there any data-driven decisions on what this is going to look like for the future? When we're making decisions of this financial nature where we're using taxpayer dollars and we're supposed to be custodians of that money, what are we doing to plan for the future in a way that we can put it down on paper and prove that this is the best financial decision for us going forward? Also, it ties back into our 25-year plan. If we're currently assessing the 25-year plan, we're sending out the RFPs for it. We are similar to what we had discussed earlier with the employees and raising their salaries before we even understand what the estimate was from the company. If we have a 25-year plan, does this building actually tie into our 25-year plan? Is there any way that we're going to be looking at this going down the road? When it comes back down to it, I'm concerned about the transparency, the way that it was presented. There's no data attached to us. There's no plans attached to it. There's no explanation on our agenda item as to why the court is making this decision. And I'm glad that we were able to answer some of that with Ms. Veens. And so I was going to ask my commissioner and the judge if we could just elaborate a little bit more on how this is going to benefit the people in Precinct 4, how this is going to benefit us going forward, and have we looked at the raw numbers and data to prove how we're going to be able to pay for this down the road? because when it comes to our certificates obligation, our tax rate is going up next year. Our debt service tax rate, I don't want to get accused of saying it incorrectly. Our INS tax rate is going up to 0.362. We're currently $163 million in tax-supported debt services, and this is just another dollar that's going to be spent towards that. There's organizations right now in the area that I know are struggling. With the growth of the population, I know our health district is facing budget cuts. I know that we have housing issues in the county, and is there any way these $2.4 million can go just towards improving roads or improving the county in a way that is tangible for the people that are paying the taxes and living here now? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner.
Judge, I was hoping by the time that this came before us that we would, and we've talked about this in the past, that we would have a list of properties in the county that we want to put up for sale that would kind of offset the cost of this. And as of this date, we don't have that. We don't know what we want to sell. It bothers me as a former business person that this property has a market value of $1.4 million. My question is, did we offer them $1.8 million? Did we offer them $2 million? All of a sudden, we're jumped up to $2.4 million on a property that seems overvalued to me.
So they've got an offer on the table for that amount.
From somebody else?
Yes. So we can either match that and get it purchased, or we can let it go. And again, that's what happened. We've looked at that property twice, and we didn't get it purchased because somebody else ended up buying it. And looking at property, you know, I mean, we have kind of looked at what properties we may not need and what we may be able to sell. And certainly, I think we need to be doing that. But this one, if we didn't take action, we would be, it's not going to be available. And then we'll be doing just exactly what I was talking about. In the future, at some point, when that jail needs to be expanded and the property probably won't be available again, or when it comes up again, it will be at a higher price than what they're asking today.
Yes, sir. Okay.
But we will take a look at what properties we may not need and don't see any future need for it, and certainly try to get those on the market. I agree with you. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
One opposal. Motion carries. Okay. Number 30 is approval of cancellation of contract 20-094 Transportation Planning Services with Innovative Transportation Solutions effective July 31, 2026, and authorize the county judge to send a notice of termination per the terms of the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
Yeehaw.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 31 is approval of contract 26-93 Project Management Software with Procore Technologies, Inc.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 32 is approval of contract 26-106 Contract Management Software with Unis Solutions.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
So I did have a question on this contract, Judge.
Okay.
This is for contract services. I know purchasing is going to utilize it. Are any of the other departments that let contracts going to be able to utilize this software, or are there, I see you nodding yes, could you, just so everybody else at home can see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So my,
Good morning, Charles.
you're a man of few words. Thank you. My wife accuses me of that all the time.
We do anticipate multiple departments being able to use any and everybody that's necessary. In particular, we got with Commissioner's Court and the County Judge's Office, the folks that handle their stuff on a routine basis, legal, and so forth. So we will have the ability to have like risk management or IT security or what have you, be in the approval groups for all of this, for each of these contracts that come through.
Do they charge us by the license user or?
Sure.
Okay.
It's a different licensing structure that we argued about, and we're currently at this, and they're trying to entice us to get some other stuff down the road, but we have not committed to that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number, we've already had 33 and 34, we're in consent.
I thought they were part of the approved.
I think I should have.
I had 4 through 7 and 10 through 22.
Did I? Maybe I missed it. I should have gone back to 33 and 34. Okay. So we'll take a vote on them. Number 33 is consent, or is personnel change status.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. And number 34 is payment of claims.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Now we will move to number 35, or let's see, we'll skip down to 37. Yeah, 37. These are acknowledgements. Acknowledgement of the Brazos County Emergency Services District Number 2 financial statement for the years ended September 30, 2025. 38 is acknowledgement of the Brazos County Emergency Services District Number 3 financial statements for the year ended September 30, 2025, and bond. And 39 is acknowledgement of the FY 2025-2026 budget to actuals by fund as of June 1, 2026, and an acknowledgement of the FY 2025-26 contingency to budget to actuals by fund as of June 1, 2026. Number 40 is an acknowledgement of the monthly reports to the county auditor for February and March 2026. 41 is a monthly report of county attorney's office. 42 is a monthly report of the district attorney's office. Number 43 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
Judge, for those monthly reports for the county attorney and district attorney, were they going to come up to speak on those like normal, or did they submit?
Did they have something they needed to? All right, let's go back up. I was getting in too big a hurry. Is county attorney here? I don't see Earl. I see Jarvis. You have something you want to?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Brevity is next to godliness.
Yes. There's so many things I could say about Commissioners Court meetings on that right there. But in honor of Elder Abuse Month, I want to talk a little bit about a case that we just finished last week. It was a case involving, the defendant's name was Lonnie Donaldson Sr., was convicted of theft from the elderly. It was basically a roofing scam that he had over and over again, and he had done this in the Brazos Valley from Milam County, I believe in Washington County, as well as in Robertson County, and he had done this in a bunch of different places, went to prison for that and a host of other offenses. Because of that, his sentence here was anywhere between 25 years and life in prison. He'd done the same thing with an elderly individual where he had asked for money to, after a hailstorm, like many of us deal with all the time, went to them, got money in cash, never did any work for it at all. And the Brazos County jury in that situation looked at all the evidence and wanted to try to protect the most vulnerable and infirm individuals in our counties. And so by that, they sentenced him to the maximum in that particular case, which I thought was a great verdict that sends a message that this won't be tolerated, especially with our most vulnerable individuals who are our elderly individuals in Brazos County. That's one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about, just kind of what we're doing in that particular area. I want to talk about A couple of cases that also went to trial. We had 2 murder cases that happened over the last few weeks. One of them, defendant was Samuel Rodriguez, and I'm going to talk about him in a group and then explain the reason why I'm talking about them in a group. Samuel Rodriguez was no criminal history, was sentenced to 50 years by Brazos County jury. This is what we would call what we call dope rip, where people go and rob who they think is a drug dealer for their money or their drugs. And then Preston Thurman, same thing, was a murder case that was here, was sentenced to 65 years by a Brazos County jury, similarly no history, same issue, what we call a dope rip, where they're robbing the victim who they believe is a drug dealer for the money and or drugs. In that situation, the person that was killed was not the drug dealer, but the drug dealer's brother at that point in time, who was an innocent person. And why do I talk about those cases? It's because from 2013 to today, the murder cases that we have had in Brazos County, of all the reasons why those individuals were killed and their lives were ended, 44% of those are drug-related robberies. So what we're not dealing with are mass shootings. We're dealing with what we call dope rips and things like that. And so we have to take a huge stance on those particular cases. Many times people think, well, it's just a person killing a drug dealer, and why do we need to intervene in those particular things? And that's a sentiment that's expressed in other big cities across the country. But here, what we recognize, and what the Brazos County juries recognize, is that every individual is a person and worthy of life at the very base level. But second of all, we also live in a community, and we can't have bullets flying whether it's on our college campuses or our college dorm rooms or apartments, or in our communities, whether it be in Bryan or in College Station. And so I thought the jury sent a strong message there, but the most important part of this was the work done by 2 individuals, one Kenneth Sykes and 2 Jonathan Eisenrich. These are 2 of our cell phone analysts in our office who we've trained up to kind of take over those cases. In the Samuel Rodriguez case, Jonathan had over 7 phones that he had to analyze in order to break this case open, to figure out the conspiracy between multiple individuals to rob the individual the victim in this case, and ultimately ended up taking his life. He had to testify 3 different times. Ken Smith, in that case, had a couple of phones that he went through, but he identified a handprint in one of the phones that worked with the CSI Becca Went at Bryan PD, and they could identify from the phone and the photo the handprint that put the murder weapon in the defendant's hand that we did not have. Oh my gosh. And that evidence was central to the jury, and those individuals work here in this county. They could command anywhere from 150 to 200 grand on the private market, but they're working here because they want to make sure that justice is done. I regularly have to fend off job offers for Jonathan when we go to conferences because they want him. He does trainings around the county, around the state, to other counties on our evidence and discovery stuff. But they do a great job, and it's one of the main reasons why why we are able to get justice in those cases. And lastly, I want to thank Angela Lara, Cindy Perez, Mia Portillo, Kathleen Monsivais, and Jerry Stovall at the district clerk's office, as well as Elizabeth Jerk, who is the TDC coordinator for the sheriff's office, and Sheriff Wayne Dickey. They have done a great job in re-envisioning and working for a more efficient way for us to do criminal judgments and getting those judgments out faster. And so we've worked together. They've done a great job and put in the work, and now we're getting our judgments back in a very quick way. So I want to continue working with Sheriff Dickey and District Clerk-elect Waylon Van Ness to kind of continue this process to make it as efficient and effective as humanly possible. So that's all I have. I'll take any questions if you have any.
All right.
Ooh. Thank you, George.
I said, ooh, just thinking about all of, thinking about, I know it's crime, and I know you're talking about human life, and we want, and so it speaks to what your team, all the people you listed are doing for us as a team in terms of law enforcement and making sure that justice is addressed.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I just want to say I appreciate all of that, but as a citizen, as a person, when you think about what it took to get there and what happened to an individual, sometimes we don't want to hear the details. As you were talking, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's talking about murder and life and whatever. But I just want to say thank you for all of that, because being new to the county, I appreciate all of my law enforcement, what it takes to be a team, because that has been the concern for some of the people, how long it takes from the time someone is arrested till there is a case, sometimes for the families of the accused and those who have lost a family member. I hear a lot on both sides. It just seems to take so long. So hearing, because of technology, probably the team that you have, it sounds like to me that you're doing everything you can to expedite this process.
Absolutely, and one of the things that happens is that we may find evidence that may inculpate and make sure that somebody is found guilty and the evidence is stronger, or we might find evidence that may exculpate or may clear an individual, and both of those are justice in those particular situations, because we want to make sure we have the right people who are being held accountable.
Right. Well, no, I'm just glad to hear it, because one of the things that I'm constantly saying is I don't think people realize the employees, those who work behind the scenes, because so very often most of us live within the city limits. They don't think about the county, and so just hearing how you brought all of these different entities within the county together, and you're doing what you do to keep us safe, but also to make sure that those who commit crime are held accountable. So just my thank you, because it's in talking to the different employees, it gives me a new appreciation for some of the departments that or individuals that I'm not always aware of what they do.
Yeah. And I'll just say one last thing about the employees, because they do a great job. Ken Sykes is regularly now a trainer at what's called the NCFI, which is the National Computer Forensics Institute, run by the Secret Service. So he is training people all across the country in cellular forensics, learning about things like drone forensics and things like that, to be able to get the information off of drones so that we can have them for criminal cases. But thank y'all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for not letting Jonathan move away.
Absolutely
Stay
not.
after him.
I did threaten to throw somebody off of a third floor building if they try to offer him a job again, but it was all in jest. It was all in jest. So,
No, we don't want you before those juries.
No, we don't want to do it.
In that way, in that context.
Thank you, Jarvis. Now we'll move to 43 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
Judge, I'd like to just recognize Ed Bull. Recently told this court that he intends to leave Brazos County and move to Colorado. Why anybody would want to do that, I'm not sure, but he's done a lot of great work for us and supported this court and the judge, and we appreciate his service.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. You have. Absolutely. You got yours? Can I get a picture with the court? Yeah, sure. Now you've got a son that went to Colorado, didn't you?
He's heading there in August.
So you understand.
And Ed, let me just say, I appreciate you letting me come and sit in your office and pick your brain about stuff that I don't always understand. So, that's a cool pose. Look at that pose.
It's like cool breeze.
Right. I don't know if that concerns us. We're losing another one to Colorado? What does that mean?
Yeah.
I just want to, Ed Bull, legal counsel, this is my last commissioner's court. I appreciate the recognition Commissioner Nettles has given me in that regard. It really has been a privilege to work for the county. This is a wonderful place. We are going back to a cooler place, a place that we lived about 15 minutes away from before, and I'll be the city attorney for the city of Evans, so I'm very excited about that move. But again, thank you to the court, and special thanks to the judge. It's just been my utmost privilege to work for the best boss I've ever known. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Now, I guess, let's see, is any other announcement of interest item, possible future agenda topic? If not, we will move back up to number 35 and convene an executive session pursuant to the following. And we're going to take number D first, but I'm going to go ahead and read them in the order that they are in. Texas Government Code 551.072 to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, value of real property. And with that one, we'll need the Commissioner's Court, of course, Aubrey, Ed, Andrew, Katie, and Trevor, and Nina. And B is Texas Government Code 551.0725 to deliberate business and financial issues related to a contract being negotiated. Were we not, I think I had that.
Judge, that one can be pulled.
So we won't be doing that one. C is Texas Government Code 551.087 for deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. And that one we need Court, Aubrey, Ed, Andrew, and Katie. Let's see, D is one we're going to take first, is Texas Government Code 551.071 to consult with an attorney about pending contemplated litigation and/or settlement offer. E is Texas Government Code 5, and that, let's see, did I read it? That's Aubrey, Ed, Andrew, Katie, and Trevor. E is Texas Government Code 551.071 to consult with an attorney on a matter which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter. And E is Aubrey, Ed, Andrew, Katie, Jennifer, and Rihanna. F is Texas Government Code 551.074 to discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of county personnel. And that would be Aubrey, Ed, Andrew, Katie, Jennifer, Rihanna, Nina, and Trevor. G is Texas Government Code 551.074 to discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, or duties of general counsel. And that one would have Aubrey, Katie, Andrew, Ed, Jennifer, and Rihanna. So we're going to do D first. The time is 11, and I will tell you that I'm not sure how long all this is going to take. It's potentially we could recess at some point, depending on how long it takes, and then come back. I know we've got a workshop, I believe, at 1:30, so we've got a lot of stuff to try to get done before the end of the day. So, but right now it is 11:28, and we're going to convene into executive session. Ready? Okay, we're coming out of executive session. It's 12:39. We need to go back to number 28, and I'm gonna ask Jennifer to come up and speak on it.
Thank you, Judge and Commissioners. The one question that I need direction on is what would you like us to do when a person promotes or employee promotes from, say, a clerk 1 to a clerk 2 position, but they currently make more than that clerk 2 midpoint? Do you want them to just keep their same rate of pay, no increase, knowing that they'd be taking on more work without any pay incentive? Would you like them to get like a flat percentage, like a 2.5% increase, and then they stay there until that pay range catches up with them? Or another option could be to do a one-time percentage, like a one-time 2.5 or one-time 5% increase for accepting that higher level. And that way it's not a recurring thing on their base pay.
So the question I have is for budget officer, where if we give guidance that they get a 2.5% bump, and that's over the midpoint of the next job they're taking, where does that money come from?
I will budget a little extra in contingency to cover for those overages, and we'll start doing budget amendments after the half of the year if we need to, because if there's no money in the line item to make payroll, the treasurer and the county auditor will not sign those checks. And so we'll have to be diligent to make sure that we have enough money in those funds. We'll make it work. I will make it work on my side.
So this is a temporary solution, right? That's going to be eventually fixed over time as we identify them and change the pay ranges for those job titles.
Yes, as the market catches up with those jobs, it'll be taken care of. It's just the question of which way do we go in the meantime. So again, option 1, they take the higher position, more work, and they don't get any additional pay. Option 2 is we just do a flat percentage, 2.5%, 5%, and then they keep earning that percentage in that new position. Or option 3 is they could get a one-time payout for accepting that higher level position, but then it doesn't skew the structure moving forward.
I would think it'd have to be the second or third, because otherwise, why would you ever take the other job with
Exactly.
more responsibility and no more pay?
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree, and I will tell you, in the old group and step process, the difference between a clerk 1, clerk 2, and a clerk 3 was 5% in each one of those. I don't remember what it's been too long since I've dealt with
It's a 5% increase between groups, so that's correct.
So to me, I think if you're going to take an increase in responsibility and needs and all that, I think it should be at least 5%, even if they're above that midpoint.
Okay. The question will be, is it recurring or a one-time, we take 5% and we plug it in?
5% could be a lot of money, Judge. I'd say 2.5 or 3, and then have the director or the department head make a recommendation if they don't think that's sufficient.
And bring it back with the budget amendment for court approval?
Yeah. I agree with Bentley. I think if we're not careful how we put this in place, it could have a domino effect throughout every employee in the county.
Correct.
Which would be a huge burden on the county.
So any decision we make today, we're locked into that as a part of the
You're
guidelines.
providing me guidance to come up
To
with
start.
wording so that we can amend the interim compensation guidance next court to include that section.
Okay, so have you gotten enough direction? If we no.
It's just no.
I heard option 2 and 3 are most ideal,
We
and
can't-
I
we have to
agree.
pick- we couldn't include it because it's so, I'm sorry, I'm so befuddled by all of this because it is so difficult. So we couldn't say 2 or 3, maybe? We couldn't, the guidelines could say that these are the possible 2 options, because the uniqueness to the positions or the circumstances may require more than one hard option.
I think it'll just be difficult to then justify why we do this in this situation versus doing that in that situation.
Okay,
So
I
it'd be
guess
nice if it were consistent.
Just one.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So maybe what Bentley said, maybe a 3%, what was the three, what was,
Two-
that was
two-
option,
two
which
and a
one?
half.
2.5, 3%. We gotta have a number.
So I'm hearing
You gotta have a
3%.
number. You gotta have a number. I think
Correct, so
3%.
I can draft up the wording for y'all. So a 3% increase, do you want that to be recurring or just a one-time payout?
I think it has to be recurring.
Yeah, I would think that would become.
They
their-
took on the
Okay.
new job.
They
It
did.
doesn't
I agree.
stop next year, so.
Okay, just want to make sure we understood. That's what we will work up then for the next court. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have more questions, Judge?
No, well, have we
We need
got a motion and a second? Are we, so I guess what we'll do this morning then, if the court desires, is pass, the compensation guidelines, and then y'all will come back with some adjustments, and we'll amend that in the next, session or whatever.
I move to approve the interim compensation guidelines.
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
I guess.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we had one action on coming out of executive session that needed to be taken. And I think who wants to state that?
Out of executive session, I would make the motion that we give the judge authority to sign a letter of intent to consider the purchase of real estate property.
Okay,
Second.
motion made, seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. I think that that takes care of business today, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
We addressed
We've got a workshop that was, I don't know that we're going to be able to get back by
1:30.
1:30.
How does that work if it's set on the agenda?
If we,
Immediately post it online that we'll change the time?
do we want to push it to 2? I mean, or do we want to try to get back, rush
No.
and try to get back 1:30?
We need a
and
break.
get it?
I need to go to my local
2 o'clock?
watering hole.
Can we do that? We
Yeah,
noticed the
as long as
workshop.
we can start after the time set, we just can't start before the time set.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody? Okay. Well, we'll come back for the workshop at 2 o'clock then. And this meeting is adjourned.